So let's jump on to the next topic. Retail. Everybody knows small businesses have been clobbered. Absolutely clobbered. They've been, for lack of a better words, decimated. Not only has this sickness that we're going through really, you know, put a fear in these people in society, but the mandates that were put in place by our politicians, by our officials, that have severely, severely handicapped on disturbing levels these small business owners and the large businesses as well. Don't get me wrong. This is not only about small businesses, it's about all businesses. All retail business has been strongly, strongly hampered. Now, have there been a few businesses that have thrived? Yes. Have there been a few businesses that have done better now than they ever did? Absolutely. But they're limited. A lot of the takeout businesses that were already set up for takeout are doing great because they already had a system in place. They're ready to go, but not all restaurants, not all eateries had that system in place. Uh, Even the grocery stores that you think that should be thriving, a lot of them, because of the mandates and because of this lack of size, and because of the regulations put in place of how much distance you have to have from one person to the other, have hampered how many people they could have in the place at the same time. And anybody that knows how a lot of the grocery stores here in New York are, or the bodegas and the little delis and that kind of thing, a lot of them are super tight. You can't have social distancing in these places without limiting it to like two, three people at a time, maybe in some of these places, because there are little holes in the wall. The rent is astronomical for a lot of these places, and they have their small space, and they did okay. They were just getting through um, with the business they did. But when you really stop people from going into these places, and I'm not saying that distancing and giving you people the space needed to not keep spreading this disease is a right thing to do. It is a right thing to do because that's what we know at this time. We don't know a lot. That's the biggest problem. Everything this year has been trial and error with a lot of stuff. But the problem was a lot of these places had to close, or they had to set themselves up in a way to protect everybody with the barriers and spacing and keeping 6 feet distance and that kind of thing. And a lot of the places weren't equipped to be able to do it. They didn't have the money to be able to get the resources to set up the place and get the plexiglass, because that stuff, they were gouging everybody during this time with uh, the protection and everything. Forget about what I was paying for masks and sanitizer and gloves and goggles and whatever you needed to protect yourself. They were gouging everybody for the first few months on that because of the scarcity, and then you had people really taking advantage at that point and charging whatever it was they wanted. Um, the restaurateurs and the business owners that had to put in special barriers and plexiglass and that kind of stuff were getting gouged even more because, well, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna take away the word gouged, because they didn't necessarily get gouged, because if you have a business that just can't keep up with the demand and there's not enough materials out there, it goes back to supply and demand. Everything goes up in price. So these retail businesses have been really, really clobbered, and this is happening all across the nation. Everybody's seeing the news feeds and the reports from the media stating how the small business owners are really being devastated. And even before that, retail was taking a major hit. Even before all these mandates, retail was not in the greatest shape. Again, I'm not going to put a one size fits all where all businesses were going through rough times, but a lot were. And because of that fact that they're already going through hard times, A lot of places close their doors and never reopen. So what's that going to mean for 2021 in the retail sector? It's going to basically mean that we have a scenario, we have an issue where there's going to be a lot of vacancy out there because there's going to be many businesses that are never going to reopen their doors. Now, does that mean that retail is completely dead? No. It's going to have to be very different. It's going to take a few years to recover from this. It's not going to happen overnight. And I can't even say that we're going to have a bubble burst or a collapse in the retail sector because honestly, we're kind of there right now in a lot of different aspects. All we're going to see is more of what's happening right now amplified. And it's not going to be 1 year. It's not going to be 2 years. It's going to be a few years where we're going to see this ongoing problem happening. And I will say something. A lot of people want to blame the online businesses like Amazon and that have destroyed retail. And I have to be honest with you, I don't believe that's the case. I believe that many retail businesses didn't help themselves while this whole internet boom was happening and everybody was getting more involved with the online sales and refused to get themselves more involved in that sector. I think that had a huge effect on where they are right now. I also believe that any size business, you need to continue to look how to evolve. So if you're doing what worked 10 years ago today with no changes in most businesses, that's not going to work. You need to evolve. You need to use what's available out there. So a lot of these businesses did it to themselves. Not all, but a lot of them did. I'm also going to say one other thing. The big stores, like the Best Buys and that type of place. I'm going to make a bold prediction. These big box type of settings, these stores, are not going to continue in the same way they've been traditionally working for the past few decades. You have places like Best Buy, the PC Richards, the different type of outlets like this, the big boys as far as what they're selling, whether it's electronics, whether it's um, appliances, or if you have the department stores like the Macy's or the Lord and Taylor's, which Lord and Taylor's, the one by me, actually just shut its doors, which was a shock to me. But these department stores, these big box electronic stores, I strongly believe what's going to happen is they're going to start consolidating. And this is my prediction. Over the next 5 years, I really believe this is the model they're going to be taking. And if they haven't thought about it, I wouldn't mind getting a little bit of credit when you take my idea and actually do it. I feel that the way these places need to continue is to consolidate their spaces. They don't necessarily need a big, huge brick and mortar in every single town. Online sales have taken that away. They don't need that. What they need is to have large showroom kind of things where I'll use Best Buy as an example. You have a huge Best Buy, more spaced out. Like instead of having it in one town, every town or every other town, you have it every 3-4 towns, and it has to do with the miles and that kind of how many miles away from each other they are. And you have that place solely for the fact of having physical items, especially the new stuff in those places, as a showroom. And it gives people the opportunity to be able to go take a look at the products. If they need it that moment and they can't wait for online delivery, they could go pick it up. Or if they order it online and they don't want it to be delivered, they could order it from the business, go pick it up from the location, and they'll be in a good shape at that point. and a blend of these huge showroom type of brick and mortars, along with a healthy, well designed online sales platform, will allow these businesses to continue to grow. So you're going to continue to need certain type of retail settings. But in those kind of situations, it's not going to be as abundant as it's been in the past. And that's the way these companies are going to continue to survive, grow, and still be relevant. Now, as far as the smaller type of retail spaces and that kind of thing, I really think the way that we're going to be going over the next 5 to 10 years is going back to the basics. I think service is going to be a huge factor. Um, Being dependable, giving the consumer a very good experience is going to be a very big factor. So I think boutique, mom and pops, specialty type of stores, if done the right way, will thrive and grow. And I'm going to emphasize one more time, service is going to make a big, big difference. It's going to make a huge difference. And the reason why I say that is we've kind of gone away from that over the past couple decades. When you had a salesperson in one of these stores that would come answer all your questions, they were knowledgeable, they knew what they were talking about, they would help guide you, they would help you with the products. Some cases they'll carry your stuff as you're walking through the place. That's all service oriented. It gave a much better experience. Now you basically go into, I don't mean to bash on Best Buy, but I go into Best Buy, I'm looking for something, and I'm looking all over the place trying to find a salesperson to help me, or somebody that knows what they're talking about to help me decide, do I need this cable for this television, or do I need this for that? And there's nobody there to answer the same question. The same problem happens in the Home Depots, and that's why they're having a big issue. Not now, because now people are buying materials like hell, but once this whole current situation we have, Home Depot is going to be another thing that we're going to deal with in the future. But the service element is something that is missing. And once the smaller places, once the boutiques, the specialty shops start to figure that out and start to provide that long missed service, I believe retail is going to start to take take its new way of operating. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am, because that's one thing that you can't duplicate with a online service. That's one thing you can't get from a virtual type of scenario. You just can't do that. One of the reasons why online sales have not dominated car dealerships at this moment is because you still need that service for that type of product. I don't know about people listening right now or anybody else, but if I'm going to go buy a car, I need to go and sit in the car and see if I fit in the car. And I need to know if it makes sense for me, maybe test drive it. How everything's, the height, everything. I need to kind of figure that out. And yeah, I know there's services out there that they'll send it to you. You could drive it around, and if you don't like it, you send it back and get a refund or whatever the case is. But that doesn't work when you don't know exactly what it is you want. If you're buying a car, maybe you put on, 20, 30 pounds since the last time you bought a car. You know what you're going to fit into the right way. They're cutting the cars in different heights and sizes and widths. You don't know what's going to work. You have all these new features. Everything is going digital, electronic in all these cars. You know how these things work. You want to go there and have a salesperson show you what all the gimmicks, all the little gadgets and all the stuff that's inside a car, how it works, and get a feel. Like, is this a car for you? Is it too complicated for you? Or is it a headache? Or whatever the case is. That's all part of the shopping experience. So that's one of the reasons why that business is still, in many people's minds, archaic, but it's not, because it's part of the service. Now, for businesses like I need a pair of socks, you know, Hanes pairs of a pair of socks that I know what they are. Yeah, you're going to order them online because you know exactly what it is that you're ordering, and you're not going to have an issue ordering something like that. But there's other things like you're not going to go to the tailor online. They do have apps for that. They do have businesses that operate like that. They can work with you online. They take all your dimensions, that kind of thing. But again, you have people that still want the service, and you have a young group of people that don't even know what they're missing. A lot of these millennials and younger people don't realize what they're missing by not having that service. And once they experience having better service, somebody catering to what it is that they need when they go into a retail type of environment, they're going to realize it and they're going to appreciate it. And if they don't, there'll be other people that will, because that's the one intangible that's being missed right now. And it's right in front of our faces. In my industry, in the real estate industry, yeah, you could be cold, you could be impersonal, you could um, be indifferent, but you're only going to get so far being like that. In my business, it's about being customer oriented, service oriented, giving people the attention they need. Otherwise, they might as well list a place themselves and sell it. We're the ones that take the headaches away from them. We're the ones that guide them and give them a better picture of what the market is doing and share our expertise with them and actually physically do the work and pick up the phone and guide them. Because if we don't do that, then again, they might as well go through the whole online thing. Because that's one thing that never bothered me, that a lot of people are outraged about, the discount brokerages and the online type of situations. That's okay. You know, if you have somebody that it's only about how much they're going to pay commission scale, and they don't care about anything else, even if they get less money, nothing's going to change their mind. And you're not going to devalue your service, or it's going to get to a point where you just can't afford to do your job for any less, because it's going to cost you more in marketing and time and effort and that kind of thing. So, you know, it's going to come down to service. The person that offers a better service is going to be the person that gets the most amount of work. Simple as that. And the best quality work as well. So the same theory, the same concept can be applied to just about any other platform in the retail sector, in the sales sector, in the service sector. Customer service. That's how retail is going to survive. That's how retail is going to evolve. It's going to go back to the basics. Full circle. The one thing I learned in life and that I use as a policy is real estate really does work in full circle. Trends, concepts, ideas that worked in the past, even though they become obsolete going around, they'll find a way to come back around and work out again. Just how it is.